So I got a call from my dad. He told me the news. It was right after Canada Games. And I was just kind of like, I was pretty excited. I was just in shock, and I was like, yeah, it'll be pretty cool playing at Rogers Centre with all the top kids of Canada.
Welcome to episode 351 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. National championships are complete. We have a little bit of fall ball starting up, and the pros are still going strong. Let's get to the news headlines, and we'll start with the biggest piece of news, and it's in the minors this week, as Innisfail's Nathan Llewellyn is on the way up after an outstanding August with the single-A Charleston River Dogs, where he hit .299 with 3 homers and 8 RBI. The St. Joe's Academy and Sylvan Lake Gulls alum has been promoted to the High A Bowling Green Hot Rods. His first hit came on Tuesday.
0-1. He serves it into left field. Long run for Butcher. He comes on, and he's forced to play it on a hop. It drops down the third base side into the corner. 2-run score. Llewellyn charges into third base, and he's ahead of the throw.
That was a 2-run triple for the Tampa Bay Rays prospect, which helped the Hot Rods to a 2-1 victory. Speaking of the Hot Rods, one guy we missed some news on recently was Tyler Herron. The Grand Prairie native and episode 308 guest has been bouncing around the Tampa Bay minor league system this season, including time with Bowling Green and Charleston before ending up in the Florida Complex League. On July 25th, Herron was released by the Rays. Okotoks Dogs product Gavin Logan had himself another outstanding couple of weeks in the Arizona Diamondback system. He was promoted to the AA Amarillo Sod Poodles in early August and had home runs in 3 straight games.
3-1 pitch, and he hits it high in the air down the right field line. If it's fair, it is probably, God, it's just over the fence. Gavin Logan, his 3rd home run of the season. It just escaped the yard onto the berm.
Split between 3 levels, Logan's hitting .241 with 7 homers and 30 RBI. Vauxhall Academy grad Garrett Hawkins continues to be a strong presence on the mound in San Diego's farm system. After lighting it up in High A, he was promoted to the AA San Antonio Missions to start August. Since then, he's gone 1-0 with a 2.45 ERA and 2 saves and 10 relief appearances, striking out 13 in 11 innings. Quite the comeback for the bigger Saskatchewan native who is fresh off Tommy John surgery. Fellow Vauxhall grad Adam Macko is coming off yet another strong appearance out of the bullpen for the AAA Buffalo Bisons. He allowed no runs on no hits and a walk while striking out 3 and 2+ on Sunday, which was actually a rehab start for Alek Manoah. It was the Stony Plain native's 4th relief outing in a row now, and one has to wonder if maybe, given Toronto's bullpen woes, a call-up might be in the cards. Okotoks grad Matt Lloyd continues his outstanding season with the AAA Memphis Redbirds, including this on Sunday.
2-0 to Lloyd, the next pitch. Swings, and this ball hit pretty well to deep right field. Ramos going back. This ball is gone as well. It's back-to-back home runs. Things go from bad to worse here at Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. Make it 5-0 on Lloyd's 6th home run of the year.
Lloyd's now hitting .276 with 7 homers and 49 RBI on the season. And Tristan Peters has been back with the AAA Durham Bulls for the last couple of weeks, making a mark once again with his glove.
It's Rodriguez at first base. First pitch poked into left field by Waddell. Diving is Tristan Peters! Of course he does! Of course he takes away an extra base hit. Sailing through the air like Superman to left center field, stretching out with that glove and snaring it off the top of the grass.
At the plate, the Dogs alum is hitting .266 with 11 homers, 61 RBI, and 11 stolen bases on the season. To the bigs we go, and Edmonton's Eric Sabrowski had a rough go of things against Boston on Monday. He allowed 2 runs on 2 hits and 2 walks while striking out 1 in just a third of an inning as he took the loss in Cleveland's 6-4 setback to Boston. The AHP grad rebounded nicely on Wednesday, though, throwing more than an inning of scoreless relief in a big win over the Red Sox. Former Dog and Edmonton prospect Cody Funderburk had an outstanding month or so. He didn't allow a run for the Minnesota Twins in 14 appearances between August 3rd and September 1st. He also picked up his first save of the season last Friday against San Diego. However, he did get roughed up against the White Sox on Wednesday night. And Calgary's Michael Soroka continues to rehab from his shoulder injury with the Chicago Cubs. He threw a 34-pitch bullpen on Tuesday, and Taylor McGregor of Marquee Sports says his velocity efficiency is back up to the mid-90s. There's still no clear timeline on his return, though, but many suspect he may be a valuable bullpen option during the stretch drive. Also with Soroka, he's changed his number from 41 to 99. Let's head to action here on the fields in Alberta, and St. Albert was the host of the annual Western Canadian Prospect Series. Congratulations to Team BC on claiming gold in both the 14U and 16U events. Alberta claimed bronze in the 14U and silver in the 16U. The season isn't totally done yet, as the second annual Sylvan Lake Gulls 19U Academy Rising Stars Classic hits the field September 12th to 14th at Gulls Field. The St. Joe's Falcons, AHP Renegades, Weber Wildcats, Vauxhall Academy Jets, and Going Yard Goats will once again be taking part. Nominations for the annual Baseball Alberta Awards are now open. They'll close September 30th, while the annual Major Scholarship nominations will close September 15th. The awards are slated for November 22nd in Edmonton. With the college and university fall term underway, CCBC teams are starting to see their teams report for workouts and on-field practices. Before we know it, we'll start seeing news trickling in about schedules, rosters, and much more for the spring. On the WCBL front this week, not a ton of news, although the Moose Jaw Miller Express have announced Eric Marriott will be back with the club in 2026, adding the head coach has signed a multi-year deal. On to this week's guests now, and we're getting geared up for the annual Blue Jays Academy Canadian Future Showcase. It's happening September 16th to 19th at Rogers Centre in Toronto. The rosters were unveiled a few weeks ago, so we've been aiming to bring you a few conversations from players set to take part. We'll start this week with one of the youngest players suiting up. Dogs Academy utility man Ethan Renaud is one of only a handful of 2010-born players taking part. The 6'3", 178-pound Renaud has been on the radar for many over the past few years, even being named the Baseball Alberta 13U AAA Player of the Year back in 2023. Even with the older competition, he's excited to show what he's capable of.
Ethan, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Let's talk a little bit about the Canadian Future Showcase. You're getting started up here in just a few weeks. How excited are you to get things rolling?
I'm very excited to have the opportunity to do this with all the top guys out there.
Is this something that you've had circled on the calendar? Is this something that you were sort of expecting to come down the line at some point this fall?
I mean, it was definitely something I was hoping for, yes. Not something I expected, probably not, but I love the opportunity that they are giving me and try to make the best of it.
You're a pretty young dude. Was this something that you were expecting at as young of an age as you are, or was that something that you were maybe even working towards?
I mean, I was definitely working towards it for probably last year to this year. I was definitely working towards, but now that I've gotten there, I've been kind of just trying to perfect my skills and try to somewhat match the guys that are out there.
Mm-hmm. Heading in, do you have any goals or expectations of yourself?
Just try to get to know the guys, just have fun, really. Just have a nice couple games and show what I can do.
I assume there's a few guys. I know Quincy Jenkins was there last year as an example, but are you leaning on anybody in particular to maybe give you a bit of a heads up on, hey, this is what you can expect over the course of the few days?
I mean, him, yes, definitely. He's a great teammate. So is, like, Tate Zimmerman, and there's a bunch of other pitchers that are going from the Dogs. They're all really nice, and I love those guys, so hope that they'll guide me and welcome me to joining them, I guess.
I asked this question of a lot of guys who are going down there. How much of it is you wanting to showcase yourself, and how much of it, in your eyes, is trying to be that sponge and learn from all the resources, all the coaches, all the players around you during the course of your time down there?
I definitely do think most of it is trying to show off and try to show what I can really do, because that's kind of most of the sport. But also, there's also learning that goes into it. You got to be mentally tough. You got to be still strong. You got to have good work ethic, everything.
How much of it is excitement around being able to play against some of the best young talent in the country, especially as being one of those younger guys where you're looking at guys who are 17 or 18 and might be, you look at Tim Piazantine as an example.
Yeah, I know. Seeing those top guys and just them seeing out those numbers and just being like, wow, I get to be able to compete with those kind of guys. It's kind of crazy.
Absolutely. You've had a pretty eventful summer, to be honest, and even the spring for that matter, and it kind of all came to an end here, fresh off a trip to the Ray Carter Cup in PEI. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, it was amazing, actually. the food there is amazing, of course. Close to see, and also being around your teammates is just amazing, especially the group of guys that I had. Those guys are just top tier guys. They're just really nice teammates and all around good guys, and we just played what we could and did our best.
Looking back at it, how happy were you with your performance on a personal level?
I felt like I could done like a couple things better, but I mean, you're not gonna have your best stuff all the time, so got to kind of work with what you got, and I tried doing my best, and that's all I could really ask for.
I know the final end result wasn't exactly what you were aiming for. You want to be in the medal contention, but was there anything that you guys maybe took away from that experience, things that you can learn on so you come back even better than you were this year?
Definitely. There's lots of team building, and there's also lots of actually seeing what is out there and how far we have to work towards it, and basically have to try, I guess, equal to or try work towards.
I love getting into the baseball journey stuff, so let's get there now. You're a dogs guy through and through. How'd you get into baseball in the first place, Ethan?
It was always kind of a thing where just really young, and my dad was always kind of a baseball kind of guy. He played a little bit, but not as fortunate of being able to play with such a high-leveled group. But, yeah, I did that. I went through about all ages, every level. I played through T-ball to coach pitch, through 11U. Then when I had 12, I played underage for the Cardinals. And that was kind of a wake-up call, because that's when you finally get to see the real guys and have actual talent out there. So, yeah.
Did you play other sports when you were growing up?
I played a little bit of soccer, kind of like every kid has. I've played football for the past, I think, 5 years now.
Okay.
And I've played a bunch of just school sports, just trying to keep being active.
For sure. What was it about baseball that made you go, man, I want to chase this dream?
Just the fields and the feelings that you could see on really TV, all this just big emotions, and how hard these guys work, and just being able to stay so fit, and I don't know, I just like the atmosphere of being out there.
Speaking of TV, who's the favorite team or who's the favorite player that you've had over the years?
I'd say my team's probably like San Diego Padres.
And who's the favorite player?
I'd probably say Ohtani, because I kind of look up to him because of I like pitching and playing the field, like hitting and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I always kind of look forward to him because he's kind of that guy that I would want to someday be.
For sure. Looking back on the young career to this point, do you have a favorite memory or moment that stands out to you that makes you go, man, I can't believe we get to do this?
Overall memory, just being able to go to Nationals is just an honor. Especially 3 years in a row, that's the big thing to do, you know?
What's it meant to you to be able to rep not just the dogs at a national tournament like that, but you're repping a whole province here?
Yeah, it's a little bit of pressure, you know, but yeah, it's a big honor to be able to showcase what Alberta players have to offer from a small town.
I also got to ask, there's a lot, the Dogs 18U program, for example, recently ranked number 2 around North America for what they've done. You get to see it at the ground level. You're getting to witness it and see what the atmosphere is like around the field and around the training facilities. What is it about that program that stands out to you that makes you go, yeah, this is a well-oiled machine?
Probably the guys there. They're very work efficient. They always work. They're always trying to fix something. They're always working out, trying to get better at everything. And they're always just nice guys. They never put each other down. They're always just help each other out if there's little things they need to fix or whatever they need to.
Looking at it, what's that Dogs program meant to you in your development, not just as a ball player, but as a human being as well?
I mean, they've really helped me throughout everything. They've kind of tweaked and coached me through many different situations that I've had. So, I mean, they've played a pretty big part in all this.
We've talked a lot about the good things. Baseball is a game of failure after all, so I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about maybe the biggest challenge or hurdle. What's it been that maybe you're the most proud of that you've been able to overcome over the journey so far?
Probably becoming one of the, say, top players in probably, I don't know, I'm thinking Alberta and maybe hoping to be in Canada, because my hope is to be one of the top guys out there and try to compete like that.
I like asking a few fun ones as well before we wrap things up here,
yeah.
Ethan. First off, what's your favorite food when you're there as a fan at the ballpark?
Ooh, I've always been like a kind of burgers, nacho kind of guy.
Okay. Do you do crazy stuff on the nachos, or are you just a straight up like, give me some cheese, give me some salsa, and we're good to go?
Yeah, I'm a kind of plain kind of guy. I don't really like all the random extra additives and kind of stuff. I'm more of a straight to it kind of guy.
Fair enough. What's your walk-up tune?
Ooh, at this moment I can't quite remember it, but there's a part of the song that goes Biggie, Biggie, Biggie. So I've had that for about 3 or 4 years now.
Okay.
And yeah, I just kind of stuck with it. It just seems to work for me.
Very cool. And finally, what's your favorite baseball movie?
Baseball movie? I'd probably have to say Moneyball.
It's a great one. Love it. Two more for you before we let you go here, Ethan. First off, for those young kids who are just starting out on their baseball journeys, they might be in T-ball, or, hey, they might even be just starting out at Dogs as an example, and they want to be where you're at now. They want to be at the best of their game. What would that one piece of advice be for them?
Just listen, really. You try to listen and be able to take in what people are telling you, and don't try to fight what they're saying, and don't try to prove them. Try to prove yourself what's right and what's wrong.
It's a great piece of advice. Final one. It's one we ask everybody. What does the game of baseball mean to you?
I mean, it's a fun sport. Just hang out with your friends and meet new people. Definitely a bunch of new people around the world, possibly, if you get to that level. And I don't know, just a game of just having fun with your friends, really.
Well, we've had a lot of fun getting to hear a little bit about your journey, Ethan. Congratulations on all the success you've had to this point. Continued success at the Canadian Future Showcase and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Next up is another young player looking to turn scouts' heads at the Canadian Future Showcase. Rogan Rivard is now at Vauxhall Academy after growing up in Fort McMurray and Bonnyville. The 5'8", 165-pound outfielder has had a busy season, including the usual run of games with Vauxhall before suiting up the West Coast Games, and most recently the Canada Summer Games with Team Alberta. He's also the son of former Edmonton Cracker Cats and Calgary Vipers hurler Reggie Rivard. Rogan, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
The Canadian Future Showcase is just a couple of weeks away now. How excited are you to get things rolling there?
Oh, yeah, it'll be an unreal experience. Super excited. And, yeah, I heard a lot of good things about it.
Tell us a little bit about the moment you found out that you were going. Was it an Instagram post? Was it a phone call? What was it that made you go, oh, I guess I'm going to Toronto?
So I got a call from my dad, and he told me the news. It was right after Canada Games. And I was just kind of like, I was pretty excited. I was just in shock, and I was like, yeah, it'll be pretty cool playing at Rogers Centre with all the top kids of Canada.
Was this something that you had circled on the to-do list earlier on in the season? Like, hey, I want to do this either this year or next?
Yeah, for sure. Well, last year in my grade 10, when I first got to Vauxhall, I seen there were a few guys going to the Canadian Future Showcase from Vauxhall, and I was like, yeah, I want to try to do that next year. And yeah, glad it happened.
What have they been telling you? What kinds of scouting reports are you getting to get yourself ready to get going?
Well, yeah, I heard a lot of good stuff from it from my coaches and stuff, and they're just kind of telling me just trust the process, and once you get on that field, kind of just do your thing, and everything happens for a reason, and yeah, just go out there and play hard.
I know Les goes up there on a pretty regular basis. You've got all those. How much of it is going to be, showcasing yourself, and how much of it is going to be a sponge and getting to learn from not just the coaches and the resources there, but also getting a chance to maybe see what some of the other guys do around the country?
Yeah, for sure. Like, obviously want to do well there, but also a learning experience on try to catch some tips from different guys and what they do and how all the other Canadians are at that level and what they do to be so good.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any goals or expectations of yourself going in?
Just do everything I can do to get noticed and play hard and just to make an impression on the guys there.
You made mention of it a little bit earlier on. You're fresh off Canada Summer Games as well. How was that experience for you?
Oh, it was the funnest experience I've ever had, for sure. The baseball there was for sure the best baseball I've played in Canada. And it was super fun. We were all in a village and stuff, hanging out with different provinces, and the games. It was awesome.
How happy are you with your performance on the field?
It was pretty good. Yeah, I have could take back a couple at bats, but overall played pretty well. Led off every game I played, and it went pretty good.
Good to hear. You mentioned kind of the atmosphere. It's not like your typical ball tournament where it's just baseball. You've got other sports going on and different athletes from different walks of life. Walk us through maybe a favorite moment or something that really stands out to you as being, oh, this is something different.
Just all the athletes there. There's so many good athletes, especially basketball. I was really surprised. We watched girls basketball. It was Ontario versus Alberta. And they for sure surprised me. There's some really good athletes out there.
That is awesome to hear. Also, it's been a busy year for you. You suited up at the Futures Games as well. How was that experience?
Oh, that was probably my favorite experience thus far. It was unreal. The competition there was the best competition I faced, and it was awesome. It was so many good players around North America.
I bet. Do you catch yourself almost, I don't want to say pinching yourself, but almost having to take that step back in these kinds of years and those moments and go, okay, this is pretty cool. Like this kid from Bonnyville's getting an opportunity to play on a couple of big stages here.
Oh yeah, you just got to take it all in, just kind of soak it in, and just you're there for a reason. You put all the work in, and at that time you just got to go play.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of putting the work in, the off season's upon us, kind of, I guess. I mean, the winter will be here before we know it, but what kinds of things are you hoping to work on over the next few months to make sure that they hit spring and next summer really on a good path?
Just staying consistent and disciplined with myself, just like making the best of every day. That's what I live off of, just making the best of every day. And on the baseball field, just my biggest focus right now is hitting the ball hard the other way and just staying, just keeping a consistent base of my just baseball and working out and stuff.
Sounds great. I love getting into the baseball past here, so let's get into it. You're originally, as mentioned, from the Bonnyville area. How did you get into baseball in the first place?
Well, my dad, he kind of finished up playing pro baseball when I was born. So yeah, I was born in Fort McMurray, and my dad coached there for a few years, and for the Fort McMurray Oil Giants kind of. And then right after that, we moved back to Bonnyville, and then kind of started playing t-ball when I was around 3 or 4 years old. Kind of always played up, and my dad was always the coach, so he always teaching me different stuff and stuff. And after that, I went to rookie ball. Always played up, so I was usually 5 playing with 7-year-olds, 9 playing with 11-year-olds. And then my first year, 13U, my real first year, 13U, we started commuting to Red Deer with one of my buddies from Bonnyville.
Okay.
I did that for 3 years, so 13U first year, second year, and 15U first year, going to Sherwood Park. And then right after that, my 15U second year, I billeted in Sherwood Park. And then in March, committed to Vauxhall. And then, end of June, I actually broke my growth plate in my elbow. So I was out till about mid-November. So I didn't play the fall season last year at Vauxhall.
Wow. So was it all baseball all the time in that household, or did you get to play some other sports along the way as well?
So I played hockey since I was young as well, and really enjoyed that. And I quit my 13U second year because I was like, hey, I feel like this is the time to either pick baseball or hockey, because it was usually always liked hockey in the winter better than baseball, and then baseball in the summer better than hockey. But then I was like, hey, it's time to choose one. And I feel like my past with my dad and stuff pretty good in baseball, so I pursued that.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel any pressure from your dad at all, given that he did play in the pro ranks and given that, he might have wanted you to follow a certain path?
He always told me, like, do what makes you happy. So I never felt any pressure from him. Obviously, like, he played lots of baseball and he has lots of connections and stuff. For sure, more in hockey. So I was like, and I always liked baseball better. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I love it, and yeah, we'll see where it takes me.
That's awesome. Have you found any like YouTube clips, or does he share much for stories from his pro days?
Oh yeah, there's tons of stories, and tons of stories in college and in pro ball. Yeah, there were some pretty cool stories.
Also, infamous moment, Battle of Alberta, where there was a brawl. Does he kind of tell you, hey, don't watch that video, or hey, say as I do and not as I did?
He showed video multiple times. No, he kind of gave me the whole rundown of how it happened, and he's pretty proud of that moment, I think.
Fair enough. Looking back on the young career at this point, you've mentioned, we've had a few pretty good highlights over the course of the year, but do you have one in particular, maybe it happened even before this year, that really stands out to you, that one moment where you just had to take that step back and go, man, I can't believe we get to do this?
Best of the West with Vauxhall was probably one of my favorite tournaments, just because, like, the atmosphere and stuff, like, there was just all the good teams and stuff, that best teams in Canada pretty much, and that was probably my favorite moment thus far, and did pretty well there, and that's why I kind of put myself on the map, I think.
That's fantastic. On the flip side, we all know baseball is a game of failure. So is there that one moment or that one hurdle that you've really had to overcome or really had to get over in the journey so far that you're really proud of, that you were able to endure?
Well, for sure, my elbow injury, that was probably the biggest hurdle that I've ever had. Just like I was actually pitching in the Okotoks Dogs Canada Day Classic, my 15U second year. And on the fourth pitch that I was throwing, my elbow just snapped, and I was like, I knew it was done. Like, I called the coaches out, and I was like, yeah, this isn't good. And then heard the news that something might be wrong. And then during my surgery, the screw that they put in my elbow first actually snapped. So instead of a 2-hour surgery, it really ended up being a 6-hour surgery, because they had to get this hollow screwdriver, take the screw out that was broken in my elbow, and put it in a different position for it to put it. And then they said if the screw broke in that position that they put it, they said I probably would have never thrown a baseball again in my life.
Unreal. So how much of the recovery in your eyes has been physical and how much has been mental?
For sure, at the start, it was a lot of mental, like, kind of going through a tough time at that time, especially like coming to Vauxhall, like not being able to play and prove myself was pretty tough. Mm-hmm. But then after it was just a little bit more physical. Just had to started getting into rehab and stuff, get on a throwing program, and for sure I got a lot stronger mentally from that, just in general. And everything happens for a reason, so I think it obviously helped me.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Vauxhall, what's that program meant to you in your development, not just as a ball player, but also as a human being in your short time there?
Oh, it's been it was the best decision of my life so far. Like, I was super excited to come in here at the start of last year, and it's been everything that I've dreamed of. The coaches here, the players here, unreal people, unreal players. Like, yeah, it's been a dream come true for sure.
That's awesome. A few fun ones before we let you go here, Rogan. First off, what's your favorite ballpark food when you're there as a fan?
Probably just a cheeseburger. Yeah, just plain cheeseburger.
What's the condiments that you got on the burger?
Nothing. I'm plain Jane.
Okay. I usually ask because it's usually mustard or ketchup, and so then that becomes a whole argument unto itself. So good to hear. What's your favorite stadium that you've been to, either as a player or as a fan?
San Diego for sure. I went there as a fan, and that was probably it was pretty cool. It was sunset at night, and for sure. That was my favorite stadium I've been to.
I've heard such good things about that one. It's on my bucket list for sure. And finally, when you're on the bus with the team and do you have a go-to activity or something that you usually find yourself doing?
Probably just playing cards, just hanging out with the boys, just having fun, probably that.
What's the game of choice lately?
The guys play a lot of poker.
Okay. All right. An old school oldie but a goodie. I like it. Two final ones before we let you go here, Rogan. First off, for those young kids who are just starting out on their baseball journeys, maybe they're just starting up at Vauxhall, they're seeing you out playing, and they're like, hey, I want to be where you're at one day. What's that one piece of advice or those words of wisdom that you'd like to impart upon them?
I'm just making the best of every day, just doing everything you can to better yourself every day, and just, this game, just have a lot of fun with it, and who knows where it can take you.
Absolutely. And the final one, what does the game of baseball mean to you?
It's absolutely everything. Ever since I was young, I've always loved it, and always will love it. So, yeah.
Well, we've loved having the opportunity to get to know a little bit about your journey, Rogan. Congratulations on the invite to Canadian Future Showcase. Congratulations on all the success you've had to this point. Continued success this season and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And we'll wrap things up by heading to the West Coast League, where Reece Hemmerling was named an All-WCL honorable mention for his fantastic summer with the Edmonton Riverhawks. He put an exclamation point on his season with his final 2 starts, throwing 6 innings of no-hit ball August 3rd against Kelowna, then throwing a complete game gem in a 6-1 playoff victory over Victoria August 8th. It was nice to catch up with the AHP Academy alum, who we first got to know a couple of seasons ago on episode 247. Reece, thanks so much for coming back here on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
West Coast League, honorable mention, Reece Hemmerling. How does that sound?
Oh, it sounds awesome. Had a good team behind me. Coaching staff believed in me, so gave me a lot of confidence. So, yeah, it was awesome.
Quite the end of the year, especially for you, including a WCL Pitcher of the Week after your complete game gem in the playoffs for a win against Victoria. What was working for you in that one?
Yeah, honestly, I was just using a lot of off-speed pitches, and, I'd throw backwards in counts and kind of kept them on their heels. So, yeah, honestly, I was just pitching for contact, didn't get a lot of strikeouts, and it worked in my favor.
It's got to be next level being able to do that in the playoffs, too.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. To pitch like that in the playoffs is something I've done before, and it's something I want to keep doing.
Absolutely. You also had a no-no going through 6 in your final start of the regular season. What was clicking for you as the season went on and things started to feel more and more, I'll call it natural, it seemed like? Or what was it that seemed to be, what stood out to you, I guess, as those innings and those outings started to rack up?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing was just throwing all my pitches for strikes. And, when you can do that, it definitely throws the hitters off and they don't know what's coming. So that's kind of what worked for me best.
When you look back on the summer specifically, how happy are you with your performance?
Oh, I'm super happy. I didn't have the best season at university, so going home and playing summer ball there was a chance for me to gain my confidence back and my pitchability back, and I think I did pretty well doing that.
Was it a bit of an adjustment for you going from Barton to USC Upstate?
Yeah, absolutely. The competition is definitely better. Not saying that the Jayhawk was bad. We had a lot of good guys in there, but going from JUCO to D1 is definitely a huge step.
What was the big difference in your eyes? Was it just their ability to see pitches? Was it kind of your nerves in a sense? What was it that kind of stood out to you as being like, hey, this is the bigger learning curve that I got to get over?
Yeah, I'd say one thing was I was definitely a lot more nervous. I kind of felt like my freshman year at Barton, but also the hitters can hit everything. So you got to be able to not hang pitches, because when you do, they're going to hit those pretty hard. Mm-hmm.
Let's head back to the summer for a second here. What's it like getting to play in front of the hometown crowd?
Oh, it's awesome. I had a lot of family and friends that would come out to the games I'm pitching, so it was awesome to have, a bunch of people behind me backing me up, and the crowd's awesome. They bring the energy every day, and yeah, we kind of feed on that.
That had to have been something else. I mean, I'm watching from afar, obviously being down in the south end of the province here, but you see the crowd sizes, you see, the Canada Day festivities, you see some of those crowds. Like, that's got to get your boys pretty amped up night after night, and seeing a record-setting crowd every night.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that not many people opportunity to play in front of a crowd like that. And I also want to talk about our starter on Canada Day, Carson Latimer, hit 99.2 in front of that crowd. So that was definitely something cool to see.
For sure. I mean, this is year 3 of that program now that's come and gone. What's the vibe in the dugout like after not just a season you've had, but obviously the run that you guys have had where it's continually getting better and better and better?
Yeah, it's definitely good to see. I think a lot more guys will be coming back and playing for them. Unfortunately, I don't think I can play again with them, which kind of sucks, but just because my eligibility wise, but it's absolutely awesome. The guys are all close, and yeah.
For sure. Take us into your off season here. Obviously, you're back in college now, getting things rolling. What's the fall look like as you get ready for the spring season?
Yeah, so right now we're just all individual work. We're not allowed to practice until I think October. So just small groups of guys throwing every day. Throwing a pen once a week, getting ready to throw inter squad and lives coming soon. So
what kinds of things in particular are you working on to make sure that you hit the ground running and improve on the season that you've had?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things is just like keeping my command, my pitchability up, throwing everything for strikes, but I'm also trying to learn a new pitch right now, which is a cutter. My slider lost me a little bit, gain more movement, so I want something to go that way that's a little harder. So that's one of the biggest things I'm working on right now.
Is there much in the way of like mechanical changes that you try to make during the off season, or is it all like minor little things that you want to work on?
I'd say it's more minor things. I don't really want to make a big adjustment right now, as I've had a good summer. Everything feels good. So just kind of minor tweaks, getting movement right. And yeah.
After a busy year so far, have you put a little bit of, I'll call it pressure on yourself to a certain extent to maybe be mindful about how much you pitched and try to not wear yourself out to a certain extent?
Yeah, absolutely. Even my coaches here had me on a deload the first week I got back here. So it's just taking it slow and building back up. I pitched a lot, which, I'm happy I pitched a lot, but also at the same time, I got to be and make sure I'm fit for the spring season.
For sure. Do you have an expectation heading into the spring as far as what your role is going to be or what you want to be able to accomplish during the spring?
Yeah, so I just want to have a big role for the team, help the team win some games, make it far into playoffs. And yeah, something I didn't really get to do last year. So I'm just going to kind of use that as motivation to have a stronger season this year.
You and I were kind of talking about it off air a little bit, but you look around and obviously you haven't gathered as a complete group yet, but what's your mindset about this team? What do you like? What are you seeing as you get ready for year number 2 with USC Upstate?
Yeah, we have a lot of new guys come in, but they look good. I think we're going to be able to repeat what we did last year and, maybe even go further. So that's obviously exciting. And yeah, I'm happy with the group that I'm seeing right now.
I'm always curious about those veterans who get to come back home, especially during Christmas, for example. Is the plan to still come back, maybe throw a couple of pens at AHP and see Taylor and the boys?
Absolutely, that's the plan. That's always been what I've been doing in the off season in the winter, and it's great to go back and see all my friends who are playing college baseball and, just working together. It's awesome.
How cool is that from the standpoint of, it's a fairly new program still, but you got all these guys who are scattered all across the country who can come back, or across North America, and they get to come back and, be part of the fam and see each other again and sort of not just reminisce about, hey, we were pretty good as some of the OGs, but man, the new crop of guys from AHP are doing pretty good too.
Yeah, it's awesome to see the growth of HP and, Taylor, Ethan, Connor, and all the coaching staff there is doing a great job. And, I hope they keep building on their program and becoming a top program in Canada.
Are you a Cleveland Guardians fan?
not so much a Cleveland Guardians fan, but I love watching Eric Zabrowski pitch. It's awesome to see him, doing his thing and balling out in the big leagues there.
I bet. I was just going to ask, as far as watching him and seeing what he's done, and obviously he's pretty prideful of coming back and being able to throw in front of you guys as well. What's that like, especially the last couple of years when he's had that? You're like, hey, this guy's on the cusp of being a big leaguer, and then last year he is a big leaguer now, and he comes back and what's that like getting to see him up close and personal?
Yeah, no, it's definitely awesome, and he's such a humble guy. He talks to everyone, helps everyone out. So it's great to work with him and great to see what he does. And he's a role model for all of us and what we want to do with our baseball careers.
Mm-hmm. Is there one thing in particular that stands out to you as far as what he does or what he's said that's made an impact on you and your development as a ball player?
The biggest thing is just watching what he does. He's got a big league routine, and that's what you have to do if you want to make it to the next level. So watching him do that, it's what you want to learn from and incorporate into your everyday life.
Absolutely. Final question for you here, Reece, and then we'll let you get back to school here. What does success look like to you in 2026?
Success for me, making it far in playoffs and, giving my team a chance to win and go far. I want to have a big role on this team, and I got to work for that. I didn't have the best season last year, so this year's kind of a bounce back year for me.
Well, looking forward to watching it unfold for Reece. Congratulations on all the success he had in 2025, continued success in 2026 and beyond. And again, thanks so much for coming back here on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it a lot.
Thanks again to Ethan Renaud, Rogan Rivard, and Reece Hemmerling for joining us this week, and thanks to all of you for downloading and listening. If you like this or any other episode, make sure to leave us a rating and review on your podcast app, and don't forget to hit subscribe as we plan to have new episodes for you every week until at least the end of November. As always, a tip of the cap to our Platinum supporters, the Okotoks Dogs, Under the Lights Sports and Entertainment, and the Western Canadian Baseball League for their generosity in helping us tell the game stories in our province. For more on our tremendous teammates or to join our roster of sponsors, head to albertadugoutstories.com/supporters. Until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.